Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jed Lee, and this is a special edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are celebrating the start of an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign to help make the next chapter in the Birthday Triplets series a reality. The first book in the Birthday Triplets series is now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.com. We hope that you will want to check out that first book, and we also hope that by the end of our conversation with co-author Kelly Tooman, you'll want to go to Indiegogo, check out the Birthday Triplet campaign, and support it. I love crowdfunding campaigns for so many different reasons, most of all because it gives us a chance to fund and support projects that are near and dear to our heart, projects that we believe in. And I really love projects that are family-oriented, that our family can get together, because I think it's a wonderful way to help our kids feel empowered, to let them know, to help them know, to help them understand that, yes, our family, that they had a part in making something really special come true. And I believe that the Birthday Triplets by Kelly Tooman and Lynn Tooman Sayre is one of those projects that your family can be proud to support. It's all about friendship. It's all about developing empathy. It's all about love and treating each other with kindness and caring and including everyone. It's just a beautiful series. Now, the original book, like we said, is available on Amazon.com, on BarnesandNoble.com, and also on Walmart.com. And the crowdfunding campaign at Indiegogo.com, it's live. It's active right now. All you need to do is to go to Indiegogo.com and type in Birthday Triplets, and you'll find out all about it and find out how you can help out. But right now, please welcome to the show the co-author, Kelly Tooman. Kelly, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
I am really excited about this. The first Birthday Triplets has been out for a while, and it's, in fact, you re-released a new edition of it last May. Tell us a little bit about that and the reaction to that first book.
The Birthday Triplets is the story of three dancing triplets, Candi, Cookie, and Coco Birthday, who come to meet their magical inventor, Granny Rosie, who's not their granny at the time. The Birthday Triplets' role is to bring birthday parties to those whose birthdays have been forgotten. And in the first book in the series, they meet this woman, Granny Rosie, who's an inventor, who's very sad on her birthday. She decides to make a magical birthday party adventure for herself, and everything goes wrong. And lo and behold, the Birthday Triplets appear to bring her a fantastic magical party, and to which she asks them to stay forever. And in the upcoming books, each day the girls will travel into one of Granny Rosie's magical adventures. She has an adventure factory to find someone else who's very sad and lonely on their birthday.
What a beautiful mission in life the Birthday Triplets have, to go out there and find folks who are lonely and help bring a smile to their face and help them feel included.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The interesting part about it is that the girls don't know whose birthday it is actually until the very end of the story. So the real story is in their journey. For example, the second book that's coming up is a pony race adventure, and they dance into this adventure knowing that somebody's alone and sad on their birthday, but they don't know who. And so in the course of the whole story, it's about this boy, also called Meanie Max, who wants to win this pony race as much as Candi Birthday wants to win it. And throughout the race, he does everything he can to thwart the other riders from winning. And there's a point towards the end of the story where he gets caught sort of in one of his own traps, and Candi Birthday is racing to the front to win. And keep in mind that he's basically told her at the beginning, how could you ever win this race? You're just a girl dressed in pink. And she hears him crying in the tree, and he's afraid. And all the other riders are running past, racing past, saying, don't stop. He was mean to us all. Why would you care? And there's this inner conflict and dilemma that she has to face with herself, whether she's going to continue on with the race or stop and help somebody who's been unkind. And one of the things I love about it in just my work with children as a former Montessori preschool teacher and elementary teacher is just the inner conflicts that kids face within themselves that we all do. It's never an easy decision to follow our hearts sometimes.
Yeah. You're right. I think some people just assume that kids are loving and caring naturally, and things like empathy and caring and being inclusive, that you don't need to teach that. Kids know that, but that's not real.
Yeah, you have to model it, and I think it's really important. You bring up a great point. Is that it's, Lynn and I had this conversation. Lynn is my mom, who is the illustrator of the book. And there's this point where when Candi birthday, she does stop to help him. And she goes and helps Meanie Max out of the tree. And he looks at her. He's just shocked. He said, "You're helping me after all that I've done? Why did you stop? You could have won." And she says, "Hearing you cry up in that tree, how would I feel if that happened to me?" So Lynn and I had this really deep conversation for a lot of days, and she said, "Is that realistic? Wouldn't she be a little mad?" And I said, "Yes, probably, but it's hard. They're the role models too. They're models of what we aspire kids to want to be." And I think it was enough just to show her to have that inner struggle of stopping when she really wanted to go.
Yeah. I loved it. Talk a little bit about the fact that, number one, that Lynn is your mom. She's the illustrator of the series and kind of inspired the series to start happening. Am I right about that?
She did. My mom, Lynn, is a former American Greetings artist. She worked for American Greetings before I was born, and being that she's extremely modest, I will say this for her, during her time at the company, she created one of the most lucrative card lines for girls per card in the history of the company. And she basically was in their think tank, and that was her job, to create something that would make the company richer. And she did. And, she got married and had me, and she left American Greetings. And that stuck in her head that if she could do that once, it gave her the confidence to want to try to do this again. And this has been a long journey. And it's really a story of perseverance and not quitting. And the Birthday Triplets, what's interesting about our book and the series, maybe different than other books, is that the characters were developed first. And the characters went through various evolutions of looks. They started younger. Their clothing looked different. We were blessed and extremely grateful for people in the entertainment business who offered their time and expertise to kind of mentor us on what we needed to do with these girls. And they originally started off without the birthday concept. They had the looks, that drew people in, but they didn't have their essence. And I thought about birthday parties and how much children love birthdays. What kid doesn't love their birthday? And also, bringing something a little deeper to that. Well, yes, they celebrate a child's birthday, but they're looking for those children whose birthdays have been forgotten for some reason or another.
One of the things that I do in my educational magic shows is ask kids what they're grateful for, and many times kids will say, "Well, I'm grateful for my friends," and that always prompts me to look at the kid, and they have this sincere look in their eye, and I always look at them and say, "Yeah, friendship is such a wonderful thing, and can you do me a favor? If you ever see anybody who seems like they're alone and left out, would you please reach out to be their friend?" And they always have this big, even the big, the macho kind of middle schoolers, they all have a smile break out on their face and go, "Yeah, I can do that."
Oh.
I believe that when kids understand how important friendship is and how beautiful it is, they're also able to imagine how horrible it would be to be left out and to not have friends. And that's one of the reasons I love the Birthday Triplets, because it has that message.
I agree with you completely, and how wonderful that you gave those children an opportunity to see the kind of impact they can have on somebody else. And I've been reading some studies about empathy and what's the most, how do you teach children to have empathy? And one of the things is to put them in situations like that where they can see face to face how their actions affected somebody in a wonderful way, and how powerful that is. And so bravo to you for encouraging that.
Well, you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording about, and it's something in my, when I'm performing at a religious school, something that I'll mention is that, Mother Teresa was famous for caring for the poorest of the poor. But one of the things she was also very famous to challenge people with is, she would say, it's easy for you in America to send money over to me in India, but it's a lot harder for you to really care about somebody that you're in your family or in your neighborhood and in your school. And you were mentioning the fact that kids aren't, because kids are spending so much time buried in their screens, that they're not spending as much eye-to-eye, face-to-face kind of contact time anymore. Right.
And that's such a good point. And they're talking this, there's a great book that I was reading called Unselfie by Michelle Borba, and I highly recommend it. And it's talking about the empathy crisis in this culture, starting with children. And she was the one who brought up the point of how it's not children. It's wonderful to get children involved in activities where they're donating to organizations, but when it's something like you mentioned far away in Africa, it doesn't have the same impact of that face to face. And I think the cell phones and things like that are playing into this. There's so many pictures that people are snapping of kids, young kids, sitting there together, and they're all buried in a screen. And, how learning empathy is learning how to read other people's faces and their reactions. And if we're not looking up enough, how can we do that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, the technology is a wonderful thing. We don't want to, we don't want to downplay the beauty of technology. And one of the beautiful things about technology is that it gives independent producers and publishers, musicians, artists like you and your mom a chance to go out and to get the community, the worldwide community, to back you up and to help you make a project like this a reality. So tell us a little bit about the campaign, how much, what your goal is and what you're going to do with that goal.
Thanks for asking. The campaign is the launch of the Birthday Triplets to the world. We have a pretty strong Facebook following. The Birthday Triplets are newer to Instagram. But you're right. This is such a wonderful time to be living in the world when you can sort of take your project and put it out to the world. And when you have more control over that and to let people be a part of something bigger, I think that's a lovely gift as well. Our goal with the campaign is to raise some initial funding for the second book in the series, the printing, the design work, and all the other aspects that goes along with it. Our bigger goal is to go beyond that initial goal into our wish list and stretch goals, to be able to produce a 1-minute animation, to bring the triplets to life. And also what's really important in the campaign, as much as getting these girls out into the world, is also, getting the issue of what's happening in the culture with empathy. And we spend a good portion of the first part of our video kind of just showing that and bringing in awareness, because there's so much talk about that right now.
I love that Kelly and Lynn have put so much care and research into the Birthday Triplets series. how excited would your kids be knowing that your family helped make this book series, a series that inspires kids to be caring, empathetic, and to be good friends, a reality? I imagine that you are ready to hop on over to Indiegogo.com and lend your support to the Birthday Triplets campaign. And that is great. But the other thing I love about crowdfunding campaigns is that supporters get rewarded. Kelly, what kind of rewards are available to supporters of the Birthday Triplets campaign?
Oh, thank you. And that's very gracious. And I know Lynn and I have worked really hard to be really generous in our rewards too that we're offering in exchange to be part of launching this dream into the world. And that was important to us to make sure that we were giving back as equally as much because we are very grateful. And so thank you for mentioning that.
Well, what are some of the rewards that folks will get when they support you?
We have all kinds of exciting tiers of rewards. Some of them we have a wonderful digital downloads for people who are maybe not in the country or even in the country. We have a Birthday Triplets coloring book that's never been released before. We have a wonderful packet called It's How to Raise Grateful Children in This World, and it's a compilation of some of the best, and, in their thoughts on what we can do to raise really great kids who are caring. Some other things we have is you can contribute to receiving the second book in the series when it comes out. And then further down, there are packages where you can actually have original artwork from the first book. We're only offering a few pieces of art, the original art. And then there are a couple of places where you could actually be in the book. Lynn has some spots in one of the illustrations where, a caricature of your child's face could be one of the riders in the pony race or be in the birthday party scene at the end of the book. So that's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, what a wonderful gift that talk about that mind exploding, just think of the joy that your child would have, to pick up this book and to see and to know that kids all over the world are going to see his or her face inside the story of this beautiful book.
Oh, thank you. And we're even thinking of, for any kids who have horses out there, because there's so many horses in the story, the pony race, also offering the chance to have it maybe be your horse. So, that's another opportunity as well.
Now, one of the things I wanted to just touch on this for, as somebody, your mom, being an incredibly talented illustrator with the credentials of working for American Greetings and having that resume, somebody might think, well, why didn't you just go the traditional route and find a publisher and let them take care of all of that?
That's a great question. Honestly, because it's not easy. And it's just more and more, it's just competitive to get your brand out there. And, I think one of the things that I love the most is I feel that this may be one of the last times that we have control or the influence over these characters. I mean, our goal has always been to make them on the scale of a brand like a Strawberry Shortcake. I mean, there's a toy line developed, a book series. There's a whole licensing portfolio, but the most important to us is to be able to make sure these girls, their hearts are presented, their personalities are presented, and their essence is presented, and that we started the foundation. And it is our hope that they do reach that scale. But my advice to everyone who's out there is that who's interested in pursuing any kind of creative endeavor is just to stay with it, because it's a game of endurance and persistence. And when you have a dream, this has just been something that's been in me so long. It's just something that I feel that we're meant to do.
and it really is true when you, as an artist, when you talk to XYZ giant publishing company and you sign that contract, you're not signing the contract for them to do what you want to do. They're basically buying the story, they're buying the book, and they can do pretty much whatever they want to do with it.
And we had some advice early on about making vegetables in their hair. Instead of bows, maybe you could put carrots and cucumbers and some other things in their hair that's more healthy. And it's just, people mean well, but I think that if you establish something strong on your own, then you know that it'll be taken over in good hands. And I think that's just kind of the reality of what we're in today, is that we have the opportunity to, all of us who are creators, is to build your own brand and to get it started on your own. My gosh, think about 15, 20 years ago. You couldn't do that. And look at all the discoveries that people have had because of the opportunities that, as you said, that we have now with the internet and media and it's, yes.
This podcast is a testament to the democratization of media. You know, there's, I'm sure that there's if there is any radio stations out there that would have, 20 years ago said, sure, we'll let you do a week, a daily show talking to children's book authors, I don't think that would have happened. And because of this, we're able to do this, and we have a huge following. And so this is a really wonderful time. And before we go, you did talk about resilience and being resilient as an artist. And that's also something that you are hoping the Birthday Triplets will teach to kids, is to help them become resilient. Talk just a little bit more about that, please.
Thank you. Each of the Birthday Triplets have a symbol on their shirts. Candi Birthdays is Be Brave, Coco Birthdays is Be Your Best, and Cookie Birthdays, a little symbol on her shirt says Be Kind. As far as Coco Birthday, she was created also, each of the triplets have personalities that, that girls can aspire to be and can relate to. And Coco Birthday loves writing. She loves reading, and that comes from the way that I was raised. And also her shirt says Be Your Best, and Be Your Best isn't about being the best. It's about resilience, right? It's about not giving up. And it's about trying. And I think I've just been reading articles lately about how children, we need to help them become more resilient. We need to let them struggle a little bit with things that are hard, even emotionally, not try to step in and fix everything for them so quickly. Because the message that's being shown is, you can't do it on your own, and you need us to help you fix it. And the great thing about the triplets is that when they go into these adventures, they don't have an adult with them yet. And so they have to rely on their own ingenuity and smarts and compassion to get through it. And at the end, they do come home to a really comforting Granny Rosie who nestles them in her magical chair, and she listens to, their stories and what they've been through, and she's that comforting role model. But she's also giving them the space to go out on their own and figure this out. And so resilience is, that's also part of my Montessori background as a Montessori teacher. We have to help kids be independent.
Yeah. As you're talking about that, the last thing I want to touch on is that resilience was something that was so important to my daughter, the daughter that I mentioned earlier when she was younger. And she had that resilience. And one of the places where that resilience shone so brightly was in the dance studios when she was in ballet. And I remember being called in, when she was 2.5 years old, and the other kids were just kind of playing around, and my daughter is going up and down the dance floor on her own, trying to perfect the routine, and the teacher would call me in and go, I've never seen a 4-year-old be this this dedicated before, and I said, well, she's only 2.5. But it went throughout her career where, where she would just work so hard and coming home with the blisters and the point shoes and the bloody feet. But it was wonderful, and it really helped her grow. And dance and classical music, that's a big part of the Birthday Triplets. Why did you include that?
That's a great question. And the Birthday Triplets are dancers. And it was Lynn's passion. She saw, and mine also, in the fact that she saw the dearth of ballet and just beautiful dancing, children exposed to beautiful dancing, and just the way music is being cut in schools, musical education, a lot of it. And just having kids, it just makes me so sad when I see kids emulating pop stars moves. And we need to expose more and more children to the beauty of dance and not necessarily copying dance that isn't really appropriate for children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you.
Oh, yes,
I feel strongly about that, very strongly.
Indeed. Now, as I said, the Indiegogo campaign for the Birthday Triplets is live right now. We're going to have a direct link in our show notes that you can just click. But of course, you can go to Indiegogo.com and search for the Birthday Triplets, and you will find that. But in the meantime, if folks want to know a little bit more about the Birthday Triplets and about you, are there other places they can visit on the internet?
Oh, wonderful. We have several websites. One is thebirthdaytriplets.com. And on that website, there's a button where you can sign up for the Birthday Triplets Times newspaper, which is just, we're trying to encourage kids to read. And there's wonderful stories where the triplets are engaging with other children. There's Cookie's Kindness Corner. There's some funny things about chocolate pudding, which is their pup, and his pet posts. And also you can sign up there for a free birthday card that's personalized. To learn more about Lynn and I together as a team is ppdproductions.com. We're Pink Party Dress Productions. And then I have my own author's website, which is kellytooman.com.
Well, I certainly want to encourage everybody listening to support the Birthday Triplets campaign. If you are like me, and I have a feeling that you are, and you want to build a more caring, empathetic, and inclusive world, if you want to inspire kids everywhere to value and cherish friendships, you're going to want to support the Birthday Triplets campaign on Indiegogo.com. Now, like I said, we will have the direct link in our show notes. You can also go to Indiegogo.com and search for the Birthday Triplets. And of course, we want you to check out the first book in the Birthday Triplets series. That's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Walmart.com. Our guest today has been the co-author of the Birthday Triplets, Kelly Tooman. Kelly, thank you so much for being part of our show.
Oh, it was just delightful. Thank you so much for having me on.
This has been a special edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Please be sure to join us for all the great episodes here on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Once again, we want to encourage you to visit Indiegogo.com and support the Birthday Triplets campaign. It's a fantastic campaign. We think it is worthy of your attention and consideration. We also want to check out that first book. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart websites. We want to thank Kelly Tooman for being here today. Of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And as always, thank you so much for making the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.